Welcome to Planet Classroom. I am Orb. Join me as your virtual guide on a journey of global learning called Planet Classroom. You will hear stories from artists, musicians, dancers, technologists, game makers, filmmakers, innovators, and creators of all kinds from around the world. It's time to engage our imaginations, share our ideas, and explore solutions for a brighter future for all. Our planet is a classroom where learning together brings us together.
I didn't know that you were gay. If I knew, I should have aborted your pregnancy. Because I can't believe it. A pastor with, like me, holding a demon in my womb. Because you are a demon, you are not a human being.
That was a clip from the documentary From the Same Soil. There has been increasing acceptance in many countries to LGBTQ people over the past 2 decades, but the global divide still persists. Today on Planet Classroom, we are talking to film director Nicky Newman about human rights and inclusivity. Nicky's acclaimed documentary, From the Same Soil, is currently featured on the Planet Classroom Network YouTube channel. The documentary focuses on the lives of Musa, Flavy, and Junior, 2 gay men and 1 transgender woman who have left their home countries because of discrimination and persecution. These 3 people have encountered several challenges in their new communities. What would be the cultural, social, or psychological factors that would lead to someone believing that attacking someone for whom they choose to love is acceptable? Nicky Newman in Cape Town, South Africa. You are on Planet Classroom.
I believe that fear sits at the heart of this kind of behavior. Fear of difference and fear of the other. In the case of Musa, Junior, and Flavy, the common fear factor came mostly from religious intolerance. Many of the Christian people we interviewed for the film felt that the murder of homosexuals was entirely justified by their religion. When we asked about the contradiction with one of the most important Christian commandments, thou shalt not kill, they still felt it was acceptable under the circumstances. This deep fear and hatred extends not only to strangers, but to close family and friends as well. It's still absolutely mind-boggling to me that people would literally jail or kill other people because of their sexual choices. That, to me, is the real crime, and I don't think justifying this kind of extreme punishment in the name of religion or culture should be tolerated anymore.
38 African countries have criminalized consensual same-sex relationships. We are talking to director Nicky Newman about her documentary, From the Same Soil, now screening on the Planet Classroom Network YouTube channel.
We aimed to make a film that humanizes Musa, Flavy, and Junior, to bring their personalities, characters, history, and dreams to life. They are valued members of our world. They're not to be punished or violated or rejected because of whom they choose to love.
Clayton, in New York, you are on Planet Classroom.
After seeing this movie, I realized how incredibly lucky I am for living in a country that is accepting of the LGBTQ plus community. I took my family and community for granted, not fully grasping that people in other countries are suffering through life-defining things that are not as easily accepted there.
Larissa, in New Jersey, you are on Planet Classroom.
One of my friends is bisexual. I accepted them when they told me in private. I wanted to help, so I went over to their house, met their family, and held their hand. My friend told their parents, similar to Junior in the film. Their dad was the most mad. The dad thought being bisexual was not acceptable in a Jewish community. The mom was trying to accept everything. Even today, the dad still does not accept my friend for being bisexual, while the mom is starting to become more accepting.
Eloise, in Paris, you are on Planet Classroom.
I think that in a world where there has been a lot of progress in terms of men's rights, I find it appalling that people, because of their sexual orientation or their choice of sex, are discriminated against and oppressed to such as an extent that they prefer to hide. In my personal circle, many people are directly part of the LGBT community. A friend of mine once told me that at her job she preferred not to reveal a sexual orientation for fear of being stigmatized, but also of being judged on her work in a different way because of a sexual orientation. I find it absurd that in 2021, we are still hiding and not embracing ourselves simply out of fear of being judged, out of fear of being attacked, etc. Her girlfriend was afraid at first of their relationship to hold her hand or even to kiss her in public. I find this kind of example very sad because unfortunately this kind of situations happen all over the world every day to people of all ages who don't dare to assume who they really want to be or who they really want to love.
We are all different, but we are all human. Today on Planet Classroom, we are talking to Nicky Newman, director of From the Same Soil, now showing on the Planet Classroom Network YouTube channel.
When people are categorized and then judged solely according to that category, that is a big problem. It serves to depersonalize them, and then it's much easier to shun and to hurt those people that you don't actually regard as real people. They just become a label. We've seen this repeated throughout history again and again. We see this happening now with some political parties stirring up hatred towards anyone else from different parties to themselves. We lose our humanity when this happens.
In From the Same Soil, Musa and Flavina both express a homesickness for their countries of origin, despite having had to leave in order to escape persecution. How do we define the idea of home in a way that justifies their homesickness?
In most cases, someone's home is considered to be where our families and our communities are, where our roots are. When people have to leave for fear of their lives, it's very traumatic. They leave everything behind, not only the bad, but all the good as well. The familiar food, music, friends, and family, their very history. It's quite something having to start again in a new country, perhaps knowing no one, where you might have constitutional rights in theory, but in practice there may still be a lot of discrimination as well.
I just fell in love with Peter. We was neighbors. We was never so the white people. How can you tell me homosexuality is Western? Homosexuality is African. Homosexuality is me. And homosexuality is not a color.
That was a clip from the documentary From the Same Soil. Lesbian, gay, and transgender people all over the world face obstacles in their daily lives to varying degrees depending on where they live. We are talking about the film From the Same Soil, now screening on the Planet Classroom Network YouTube channel. How do we teach tolerance and acceptance for LGBTQ people? Larissa, in New Jersey, you are on Planet Classroom.
After watching this film, I believe there's a lot of work to be done on LGBTQ plus equality. People everywhere need to be more accepting. When I watched the film, the first two people who came to my mind were LGBTQ plus activists Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, who helped with the Stonewall riots in 1969. The United States has made some progress since then, but even here it is still difficult for LGBTQ plus people, and especially Black trans people. There are those who are against having transgender people in the military. There are people opposed to letting trans people use the bathroom they prefer, and others who delete transgender people from history. So our country still has a lot of work to do.
Eloise, in Paris, you are on Planet Classroom.
I think LGBTQ communities should not be silent. They should continue to talk about themselves, to talk about their fight, to try to get things done, to make the whole world understand that these people are human beings, human like others, and that their choice of life, their sexual orientation should in no way change that. They must keep fighting. For example, I think several actions could be put in place. For example, we should educate ourselves and mainly educate our child. For example, we could talking to children from an early age by setting up anti-homophobia programs in school, but it should be biphobia or transphobia program in school. It would be a great example. We have to educate ourselves, and we really have to educate our child.
Clayton, in New York, you are on Planet Classroom.
I believe that uncertain people should educate themselves before judging a whole supportive community of people. They should be accepting of other people's sexuality and gender preferences, as how you respect someone who is part of another religion. Basically, they should treat others the way you would like to be treated.
The world is in vastly different places as regards positive and healthy changes for LGBTQIA+ people and rights. You have legal same-sex marriages in some countries, and then you have people being jailed for 10 years plus in other countries, if not being put to death. So I believe that activism is vital to help those with more restrictive and conservative laws and outlooks to move towards tolerance and acceptance and inclusivity. I would love to see this film make a difference by assuring all LGBTQIA+ people, especially in Africa, that they are valued and protected people in our world. I would like people to understand the enormous personal and societal cost of those forced to move countries because of these outdated and discriminatory laws. I would like to see the discriminatory laws in Africa and elsewhere changed immediately and permanently and reflected in societal behavior as a result.
Thank you to Nicky Newman, and thank you to all our young guests for your ideas and insights on this important topic. That's all, my human friends, for this week. I leave you with a reminder to explore your world, express yourself, discover, create, and use your imagination. Until next time, be kind, be curious, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.